So Gen Z is a part of the church, and we've got to talk about it. This is Bite Size Theology. Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Bite Size Theology, a ministry of Springfield First, where we tackle big topics around faith, one bite at a time. I'm your host, Allison Means, and today I'm joined by our student life director, Natalie, and we're talking about Gen Z.
Hi.
Hi, Natalie.
Hi.
Welcome to Bite Size Theology.
This is weird. This is
fun.
fun.
I'm glad you're here.
Ooh.
Okay, Gen Z, you are one.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Guys, that Gen Z is not just like little kids. In fact, they're not little kids. That's a totally different group now.
No, Gen Z is like 98 to 2015, I think. I think that's
So-
the cutoff.
Most of them are young adults.
Yep.
And they are a part of our churches and moving into more leadership roles. And we can't act like they're not.
No.
So let's talk a little bit about like what looks different about doing church and doing the Christian life with people from a younger generation.
Awesome. I think one thing that I have learned, not only being part of Gen Z, but working alongside Gen Z, is that we all just want to feel this sense of belonging and kind of finding out who we are, not only in a Christian setting, but in a general setting of how can we connect with others to develop our core sense of identity. Because every generation kind of has like a general theme. So what is Gen Z going to be? What is our image going to be? What's our legacy going to be? That's a better word. So what is our legacy going to be as we step into adulthood, really?
Right.
Because Gen Z is really, we're just at that start of early adulthood. Lots of teenagers coming up into the world. How do we not only set an example for the generations below us, but also you can set an example for generations above you as well. And so kind of seeing how that has just everything, because we are the first generation to completely grow up with technology too.
Right.
And so how does that play into everything that we are dealing with, everything that we are doing, especially in a faith context?
Absolutely. I'm glad that you mentioned Gen Z being the first generation to always have technology as a part of their lives, because that is so much a part of all of our lives now. And for those of us who are older, I'm a millennial. For those of us who are older, it can be hard to remember that everybody didn't have that same experience that we did as kids. And I think it has impacted these generations a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Just being chronically online. There's all kinds of studies that have linked it to like increased anxiety and, being not actually connected with one another. And I think that's a way that the church can really serve Gen Z in a way that's really unique as a place to actually connect in the physical, real world with people who love you and care about you.
Yeah.
Which, listen, I love the internet, okay?
I do too, listen.
I am chronically online, but it's not, you can't live your whole life that way.
Yes.
And the church can really be a grounding place for all of us. But those of us who are older know that, and we have to make sure that we come on alongside our younger brothers and sisters and help them to come to that realization as well.
Yeah, and I think one thing that I have noticed while growing up, not necessarily when I was back in high school, like I say that like way back in my day, but you really don't understand the value of genuine human connection until you get kind of up into the real world. And it kind of is a wake-up call when you become an adult, especially in our generation of, I don't know how to talk on the phone to people besides texting. I don't know how to carry out a conversation without, texting someone, because there is that fear of, oh, how am I going to be perceived? And so I think that the church being able to openly accept Gen Z and make everyone realize that, you know, they are a valued member of the community as well. And also just seeing how trends in our day and age have made their way into the church and how the church adapts to fit worship of all generations, which is, it's a struggle. You can see that one of the things that is most prevalent going on right now is that Gen Z actually has some of the highest rates of church attendance.
Yeah.
And
I think that's so cool.
Yes.
Did you hear that, internet?
Yes. So Gen Z overall has one of the highest ratings of church attendance amongst all generations. And I don't know why. I think a lot of that has to do with having this need for belonging, especially after COVID.
Yes.
After COVID, I at least had just started college, and wanting to get around people and build those relationships was, after COVID, was dramatic in how I really got connected with the church. Granted, I believed beforehand, but getting into those spheres of belonging and finding people who maybe might be a little older than me, but building those connections, especially with someone to look up to. Like, I really look up to you, Allison.
Oh, Natalie.
And so,
I don't know if that's your best choice, but I appreciate it.
and so you have, getting those in-person relationships built is crucial.
Yeah.
And so I think that the church allows us to still have our sense of identity as being a younger, more maybe digitally focused generation, but still having other generations to look towards to see how we can learn different aspects of the Christian life from a different perspective, because you guys grew up with a totally different outlook on life, and how can we grow together?
Yeah. Every generation has something important to teach other generations. You know, we stress all the time that one of the best ways to grow in your faith is to find somebody whose relationship with Jesus is stronger or deeper or whatever than yours, and build a relationship with them and listen to what they have to say. And if we are not walking alongside younger people, how are they ever going to experience that?
Exactly. So I am a big proponent of getting youth involved in every area of the church early on. We have a lot of youth serving in our kids ministry, which is great, but we also provide opportunities for students to get involved in big worship on a Sunday morning. So we have students doing not attendance, announcements and greeting and praying, and we do a big student-led weekend where students will get to lead worship. And just getting them connected in different areas where they can see that they are as much a part of the church as everyone else.
Yeah. And I think that also needs to go the other direction, right? I love our student life. I love our students. They're awesome. Getting to be involved with them, to come do worship with them on a Sunday night, and getting to know them, and, you know, like our musicals that we do.
Yes.
Those are such a wonderful time for me. I hope they're having a great time. I'm getting a lot out of it.
Yeah.
Kids have a lot to say that's important, and we sometimes forget that and discount it, and we really need to do a better job of listening to what they have to say.
One of the things that I have told a lot of people is that sometimes I learn a lot more about faith and theology from my students who don't even necessarily know what they're saying. It's just the questions that they're asking really make me think. And I just think that we have a lot more to learn from younger generations than we really think. I still remember being in youth group, 15, 16 years old, and really leaning on my leaders, my adult leaders who consistently poured into me. But they got as much out of leading us that we did being led by them. And I think that is crucial to understand. Just because you are older doesn't mean that you can't get something out of, a 15-year-old.
I tell you what I get a lot of times out of time with younger generations is we get tired.
Yes.
And nothing will like renew my spirit more than to spend some time with a younger person who is just overflowing with passion.
Yes.
And that is something that younger people are uniquely suited for.
Yes.
That they are just passionate about the gospel and passionate about
Yes.
Jesus. And it energizes me and it blesses me so much.
Yes.
And that's something for us all to remember.
Yes. Yes. I think that the students that we have now, they are longing for something.
Yeah.
And even if they don't necessarily know who Jesus is or what the gospel is all about, they are all learning, they're yearning for something to be connected to find their sense of worth in. And I think that by opening up the church and really pouring into them and helping them realize that, you know, they were made in the image of God, Jesus loves them, it really helps them develop this sense of identity from a young age that they can take with them as they transition into those like fundamental college years where you have so much self-exploration.
Yeah.
And that is the ages that we see the biggest drop-off in church. You know, these kids who have been I'm not necessarily sheltered, but they have grown up in a Christian household. They've been, you know, their parents have dragged them to church every week. And when they are out on their own in the real world, they find all of these other things that, you know, take precedent in their life. So how can we as the church step up and help them realize that, you know, the church is something that belongs in their lives?
Yeah.
And how do we make them feel welcomed enough to continue to go to church? Because, you know, that statistic that Gen Z is the biggest church attendance, it's happening for a reason.
Yeah.
So the church has done well, but I do think that we could do better, especially as we've got Gen Alpha coming up and Gen Beta coming up. What ways can we learn not only from millennials, boomers, but Gen Z sets the trend for those generations coming up.
Yeah. Well, Natalie, thank you so much for being with me today and for talking about this and for all of you joining us as well. We'll see you on the next episode of Bite Size Theology. Thanks for joining us for this episode of Bite Size Theology, where we take big ideas about faith and break them down one bite at a time. We hope today's conversation has helped you grow in your understanding and sparked new insights on your journey of faith. If you found this helpful, don't forget to subscribe, share, and leave us a review. And as always, if you have questions or you want to dive deeper into today's topic, feel free to reach out. We would love to hear from you. Until next time, keep seeking, keep questioning, and keep growing.